You see the product, now take action. Miracle Food, suitable for all ages, the perfect cleanse and reboot, a product that helps promote a healthy immune system and a great anti-inflammatory. Don't just take my word for it. Sandman at Viral Hip Hop News strongly suggests you go over to chakradoctor.org and try out the incredible product, Miracle Food. Let's go.
Sway, you with your wife then, and about hitting rock bottom at a place you guys been through. And one particular story, you said you was on your way to an audition, and you know, your home got taken from the sheriff at that time. Talk about hitting rock bottom and then get back on top, man, and what you learned from that.
Yeah, you know, it was, you know, when they took the house, man, it was. See, when we tell the story, I told the story. People thought like, oh yeah, well, yeah, he was out there, you know, overspending, and I'm like, nah, we were investing. I was invest heavy in real estate because I understood the power in real estate, and I'm like, yo, we want to pass this down, but it was just at the wrong time because that's when they were give anybody who wanted a loan could get a loan. Anybody, they were just going, and they were setting us up to fail. So we had a bunch of property in Vegas, and it was doing good at first, and then when the bottom hit, we kept trying to hold it. So we dipping in savings, trying to hold it, because when those people leave your property, you still got to pay. So I'm like, okay, let me just pay it, let me keep it. You know, this is going, you know, I can pass this down when I should have just jumped out. So, so cut to the house, you know, we were doing the famous, what was the thing they were doing? Loan modification. That was loan modification, which was basically the bull to them taking your property. So we were doing everything, like sending them everything. Boom. Then they were like, "Oh, we didn't get this, we didn't get that." I'm like, "Yo, this is ridiculous." Like so I'm sending paperwork, the same paperwork 3, 4, 5 times. So anyway, supposedly they didn't get the paperwork, and I guess there was a sale date, and it was sold unbeknownst to us. So I'm going to an audition. Wifey called me. She's, I'm like, well, I'm coming. I said, the sheriff said, they said we got 10 minutes. I'm like, what? So I spin around. I hit my agent. I was like, I'm not going to audition. I spin around, go back. And the sheriff, he was cool. He gave us really like 20 minutes. But you thinking about that, man. 20 minutes to pretty much try to get your life in a couple of bags.
Yeah.
And figure it out. Thankfully, the kids were at school. So we ended up, you know, shooting to a hotel and just kind of, you know, they had some friends help us there. And then I had just done a commercial. I forget what it was, but that had started rolling in. So we were able to like, okay, we need a place now. And we got a place. And then my wife had been wanting to do reality TV forever. I didn't want to do it because I'm like, yo, I'm an actor. They're not going to take me serious. And I said, we got to have something to talk about. So we just started talking about, hey, what about we just talk about what we went through? And we said, yo, we got to be real because we don't want somebody else to tell our story. Let us tell our story.
Right.
So that's what we pitched to own. We shot a sizzle reel. And these young filmmakers now, they're taking off. A cat named Moses Israel. They were students, and they shot it for us. And we took it in, and boom, you know, we took the meeting. We walked out 10 minutes later. They were like, don't take it anywhere else. We want it. And the purpose was to tell the story that it ain't all, you know, gold, that people go through real shit, you know, if you don't mind me saying. People
do you think, bro?
We go through that, you know, and we wanted to show like, yo, out here it ain't all, everybody ain't rocking Bentleys. Everybody, they may act like it on Instagram, but that is the case. And I've had several people, big name people, come to me. Oh, yo, thanks for saying that. No, man, I'm with my mom's now. You know, I've been living in my car, and you know, I'm like, yo, just talk about it. Like, you know, we got a front for it. That's the problem where we are now. Is we're trying to create this image of what we want people to see instead of giving them real life. I'm like, I come from the man, South Bronx. You couldn't get back then. This was long before this gentrification. This was abandoned buildings. This was back when Koch's big plan was to put fake windows on abandoned buildings to make it look good. So I come from that, so I don't care about that, man. I don't care what nobody thinks. We're gonna talk about it. And but the great thing was a lot of people were really blessed by it. A lot of people reached out. We had a couple reach out to us who they were literally both planning suicide. They were like, because they lost everything, and they happened to see our show and decided not to kill themselves. Like the wife said, my husband had the gun. That the next night we were killing ourselves.
Hey.
So when I heard that, I was like, we did the right thing.
So let me ask you this: you guys taped it yourselves and then pitched the episodes to the people, and then they picked it up. Did that give you more creative control than your typical reality show? Like, how did that work when it came to like ownership and stuff?
It was kind of, sort of, not really. Like we pitched it, we shot the sizzle reel, took it in, but from there, once they take over. Once a network gets involved or a production company, because they're going to bring in a production company that runs the show. That this is what they do. That's not what we do. So. Right. Like, well, you guys aren't end-to-end showrunners, so you and with reality shows, the title created by is different. It's not like 1 hour or a sitcom or something. It's different. It's a gray area because there's so many people giving suggestions and giving ideas, and so it's really hard to say. Created by. We asked for that, but
right.
But it doesn't really, unless you are a showrunner or probably in a better position. If we in a better position, if we were T.I. and Tiny at the time, where we're doing it because we just want to have fun, it might have been different as opposed to you doing it because you kind of need to do it,
right.
And you also want to tell your story. So it's kind of in between there, but. We appreciate it for just letting us tell the story because right. A lot of times again you don't see that at all, and they stepped out and gave us the opportunity.
Right now, 2004, you played Micheal Jackson in Man in the Mirror.
I knew that was coming.
Yeah, and I heard you. One, you had a hard time on social media from the backlash, but you also been on record defending Micheal Jackson. Could you speak on playing him and defending him from some of the stuff, the allegations against him?
Okay, well, first I'm gonna defend myself. No, when I did that, when they called me for that movie, it was weird. They called me for the movie. I went. I just met. When I ain't auditioned nothing, I just went and met. I couldn't believe they were really doing a Micheal Jackson movie, and I was like, yo, y'all know I'm 6'4", right? They was like, right. Yeah. I'm like, okay, cool. So I go in, I meet with the director. He's this real earthy guy. He's real like, we just want to channel in the love, and and I'm like, all right, cool. So we meet, and that was it. I leave. I'm not thinking anything. 2-3 days later, I get the call. Yo, they want you to do it. They want to offer you, and and boom, when they came, the money they came with, I was like, for real? They want to give me? I was like, okay. So this is pre-social media. There's no social media at the time. So we went to do it in Canada, and I'm like, yo, we need to bring somebody from LA, to do. No knock on the Canadian people. I just knew at that time, I said, we need to bring someone from LA to do makeup. I knew some people where it wouldn't look crazy as it ended up looking. And when I got there, they wanted to put this fake nose on me, and I was just like, no, we can't do that. We can't. And then they just airbrushed the makeup. I was like, yo, I'm still ashy. Y'all see it? I'm still ashy. Once I saw that, I was like, oh, but they said we had the original music. So that was the thing that I said, oh, well, people will pay attention to that at least. I'm doing these big performances, the Man in the Mirror, like the real songs. And then kind of past halfway, producers had me come sit in the trailer. Like, yeah, so about the music. The legal team reached out, and it's not going to happen. So I'm just like, what? So we got a producer for right up here, and they're going to, I'm like, all right. So cut to, you saw the music in there, but it was something else. Now I was fortunate enough to meet Micheal, while he was alive. I was fortunate to meet him on a couple of occasions. My wife knew him, and I got to, sit down with the family. I remember after he passed, and we sat with LaToya for like 2-3 hours. And you know, she just really shed some light on a lot of stuff. And I was like, I just never believed it. You know, I was like, no, I don't believe it. And I'll never change my mind. I knew what it was. You know, it's power. It's the power he held. And it just, I'll just say, you know, it had to be disrupted. So, but as far as what was the allegations, I never believed it. When you have FBI raid you without you knowing and you don't find nothing, you know, and you kind of got to go, okay, dang, they raided you several times. They still didn't find anything. They did forensics on the computers, all that, nothing. And the paying off, I understand what, you know, he's like, yeah, I don't want to deal with this no more here. Paying off don't mean you're guilty. It means like, yo, I just want to be done with it. And then you find out later, you know, the father kills himself and the kid says, yo, I lied, you know? So, yeah, I'm always rocking Michael.
Yeah, salute to the Jackson family. Some of them are friends of the show, so we always rock with the Jackson family and Mike as well.
Yeah.